Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. It's Brittany, your friendly plant-loving internet stranger, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing an update on this Philodendron Florida Green. It took me a minute to adjust the camera so that you could see the plant in its full glory because it has just grown so much since I got it. I got this plant in the spring, maybe April of 2023, and it has grown tremendously. I'm not sure if I have ever formally introduced this plant to the channel, but here it is. It is so beautiful and has grown so much. This is one of those plants for me where anytime I go on a vacation or if I'm away from home for a couple of days and I leave the grow light on, the plant has grown an inch and it has like 2 or 3 new leaves coming in. So a little bit about this plant. As you can see, it is a climber. I have it climbing up a bamboo ladder right now. I actually need to get a new one because this one is kind of short for it, and I've had to like tape it in a very strange way so that it doesn't break under its own weight. In its natural habitat, this is a jungle plant. It's a tropical plant and it climbs. It's a climber, it's a vining plant. And really depending on how you set it up in your home, like I like the look of it climbing up this ladder. I could also take a moss pole. I actually have a moss pole over my shoulder right here, but I have my bird of paradise living with that one for the time being. But I really like the look of this plant when it is climbing up something. Like I mentioned, it has sort of outgrown this ladder and I want to get another one. The shop that I bought this ladder from has one size up, so I think I might try to get that one, or maybe I could find a bigger, taller one, maybe online somewhere. I have had a lot of success growing this plant in a home that gets relatively low humidity. I've just seen this plant grow. I don't really keep a humidifier on for my plants. Depending on how resilient the plant is to my indoor climate, the tropical plants don't always work, but this one is loving it in here. I have found that it's pretty similar to the Monstera in how it grows. So if you're not training this plant to actually grow up something like a ladder or a trellis, it's gonna be all over the place because this is a vining plant. It's gonna just sort of look very flat. And I don't even think this is the type of plant that would look great if it didn't have something to climb up. My Monstera is just a very wild plant if I'm not actively making sure it's like trained to climb up something. And I think this plant does something similar as far as like aesthetics and just the overall health and wellness of the plant. I found that it does the best when it actually has something to climb up. According to the internet, the mature size of this plant, like a mature plant, will be between 5 to 8 feet tall. This plant is, I would say, maybe 3 feet, maybe just under 3 feet. Where it is like up to the top of the ladder right here is about 2 feet. And then I had to, like, there's beyond this part right here, the top piece that you can see. You actually can't see the tallest leaf on the top of the ladder. I'm just not realizing that, but this is a baby leaf right here. I don't want to pull it, but it's like the lightest color and it's like right above the top of the ladder. There's a piece over here that has like grown to the side and I had to tape it up because I didn't want it to break. That makes it about 3 feet. It could be closer to 3.5 feet, but I would have to like unwind it to like fully measure it. It's doing really well and it's a very healthy plant and it loves my home. So it's exciting to think that this has another 2 to 5 feet that it could potentially grow. A little daunting, honestly, because it's difficult for me to get a full shot of this plant because it's so tall. And it's not even the tallest plant I have. Like y'all have seen my Monstera. The trellis that it's on is like 6 feet tall. So this plant is not nearly as close to that plant in height, but it's given the same energy of just like wanting to grow up and needing to constantly have its trellis or, you know, ladder or whatever it's climbing up replaced because it's outgrowing it. And so I do think that this is a plant that I want to see how I can max out the growth of it. This is a plant that regardless of all the struggle plants that I show on this channel, I'm always coming back to look at this one. This one is always getting water, it's always getting, you know, restaked. And right now I'm like rubbing my hands. You can't see it, but it's sticky. My hands are sticky because the plant is excreting its plant goo. Very scientific term, I know, but it's excreting its plant goo right now, and it does this a lot. So I don't know exactly what it is. I'm calling it nectar or plant goo because I don't know what else to call it, but it is like these little droplets and they're sticky, and I need to wash my hands now because I'm not going to be able to finish this video with my hands feeling like this. All right, and we're back. This plant is native to Central America. It's a tropical plant. It loves to climb things. If you're gonna get yourself a Philodendron Florida green, or if you already have one and you don't have it climbing something, I highly recommend to really encourage this plant to like grow up, because it wants to grow up something. It probably grows up trees or larger plants in its natural habitat. So you wanna try to create that sort of environment for it so that the plant can like actually reach its full potential of being 8 feet tall, if that's what this one is gonna do. Hopefully it will, and like I said, I'll just keep switching out the trellis and we'll see how it goes. So I got this plant from a local greenhouse, and it was a relatively small plant. It wasn't like clipping or like a little tiny baby, but it was significantly smaller than this. It just grows so much. I have it sitting about 3 feet away from a south facing window, so it's getting some pretty intense light most of the day. And it seems to really enjoy that. Like I said, when I travel or when I'm away from home for, you know, extended periods of time, I turn on an overhead grow light for the plants in my plant corner. And this plant, without fail, always has a new leaf. I know it's always gonna have a new leaf. I actually need to be a little bit more proactive and start like strapping it up or putting a larger trellis in there before I travel, because I know that when I come back, I'm gonna have like a half a foot of either new growth or 2 or 3 new leaves coming out. This is a very happy plant. It loves the overhead light. I could probably max out its growth if I gave it more artificial light, but I need to chill on that, because the reality is if it were to get to 8 feet tall, I don't know that I would have a place to be able to really support it right now. And I like where it lives. I'm not in a hurry for it to like grow super fast. And when I have the artificial lights on, it grows like crazy. I water this plant when it needs to be watered. I don't really do anything special to it, honestly. Like I said, I make sure to prioritize the health of this plant, because I am so heavily invested in this plant. There are some plants that I don't want to say I don't care about them, but they're easy to forget. Maybe I have like multiples of the same plant, but this is one that I am always paying attention to, watering it when needed. I do clean the leaves. Because it is a larger plant now, I don't always water it in the sink, but when I do, I make sure to actually like rinse its leaves off. And because of how it is positioned, you can see, like I've mentioned several times, it's climbing up this ladder right now. The leaves still kind of go in an organic zigzag type of way. So it's not a very flexible plant in that I can like easily put all the leaves under the running water to wash them off. So a lot of times I might actually use a spray bottle to clean the leaves in the sink, or my pump sprayer. I have not had any issues with any pests or anything with this plant. This has been an easy plant for me to care for, and it's just been really lovely to watch. I put it in this really pretty green planter last year, shortly after I got it, maybe a month or so after I got it. And this planter is from the sale. I got this years ago. They don't sell it on the website. I don't think I looked for it recently and I didn't see it. I wonder if it will ever flower. That would be cool to see what flowers could look like from this plant. And I actually made a video of me repotting this plant into this planter. I'll link that. And in that video, if you watch it, you'll see that I was really struggling to like get the full plant in the frame. And so yeah, I'm happy that like y'all can actually see most of the plant. It still goes up a little bit higher, but I'll do like a pan shot and add that in here somewhere. So in April of this year, I did post a video. I think it was one of my pre-vacation plant watering videos. That's the title of it, and I'll link that one too. But in that video, I accidentally broke part of the plant. Funny enough, speaking of part of the plant being broken, when I was filming B-roll for this video yesterday, I actually accidentally broke a part of the plant. And it's right here. It was actually, I'm trying to figure out where it was. It was up here somewhere. Yep, it was right here. The part where it came off has already calloused over, and the bottom has calloused over as well. The unfortunate part is that there is not a node on the part that broke off, which is disappointing because it would be a lot easier to propagate. But I'm going to be assembling a grow box pretty soon, and so I'm gonna put this in there. I don't know if it will grow, if it will develop roots, because it doesn't have any nodes, but I'm certainly gonna try. I'm gonna put this in the grow box and we're gonna see what happens. Now that piece of the broken plant reminds me that this is also a plant that is toxic to animals. So if you have pets, just be mindful of that, especially if you have pets that chew on things, chew on your plants. This is a toxic plant. I don't know if it will unalive it or if it'll just make it sick, but just be aware if this is a plant that you're interested in. And this is also toxic to humans, so don't eat it. And just be mindful if you have small children around the plant. The next video I featured this plant in is from May of this year. Again, it was actually my post-vacation plant checkup, and I think I was just kind of going around to show what the plants were looking like after being away for a little while and being under the grow light for 24/7. Basically for like an entire week. And so this plant has so much growth that the top of it actually broke a little under its weight. It had grown significantly under the grow light. Like I mentioned, I knew that it would. And so I showed that in the clip from the video in May. This was the piece that I broke. I propagated it, or I'm attempting to propagate it. It's actually not going well. And this had a node. So I may end up adding this to my grow box that I create, that I add the other one to. And I have a box that's deep enough for a taller plant, so this might actually be a pretty good experiment to see if this will work. What I started to notice was after the clipping, we're gonna call it a clipping for the sake of this video, even though I broke it, it's a broken piece. I started to notice it almost looks like it's nutrient deficient now, because the leaves have started to like, they're no longer as plump as these leaves are. These feel not as plump as like a succulent, but they have a little bit of weight to them. And so the broken piece is just like all the nutrients have been sucked out. The leaves feel very like flat and not succulent at all. Something's wrong with it. It's been broken off and in water since April, and there are no roots that have developed. The nodes don't even look like anything is happening. Like the nodes look unbothered is basically what I'm saying. So I don't know if this propagation is gonna take. I'm gonna try it in maybe some moss and see if I can get it to grow in a propagation box, because the water is not working right now. I had it in my IKEA greenhouse and it was doing okay. It took a while for the leaves to start to like feel weaker. It still doesn't seem like the clipping is happy, and I don't want to lose it. So hopefully I'll be able to get it to grow. So yeah, for the time being, I don't have any successful propagations that have come from this mother plant, but I will definitely, keep y'all in the loop if I'm able to like rehab this broken piece and if I'm able to get it to grow in the propagation box that I set up. And I did add that piece to the propagation jar that I just showed as well. And again, like there are no roots growing from either of those. So we're gonna try our luck and see if we can get them to propagate in a different way. So the last clip I have is from a year ago. I actually posted a short, but where it was a year ago compared to where it is now, it's a pretty significant difference. I think I was watering this plant on a YouTube short in September of 2023. So this is a nice full circle moment, and I'm excited to see what it looks like next September. So maybe I'll do like another anniversary video next year, September, to mark where the plant is in its growth journey. This was like a great place to end the video. If you have a Philodendron Florida green, if you have any experience with them, if you know what those droplets are all about, if you know how to propagate it, feel free to leave me a comment and let me know. If you want more plant content just like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And also give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.